Hi, hello everyone. Welcome back. So today will be the last day of this series on Python for beginners. We will be looking at conditional statements today. Okay, conditional statements and loops. So to whatever extent I'm able to cover in the given time, I will cover it. There are, yesterday we already looked at the if statement, right? It's not completely new to us. Yesterday we saw if statement. We will explore slightly further from here. We will see how to use if and else. Okay, then if, else if, and else. So else if, generally in other tools, okay, it will be something like this. If, and you give the condition. Okay, so if this condition turns out to be true, so you're checking by default, we are always checking whether the condition is true or not. So if true, if that condition is true, then whatever you might want to perform. And if you have multiple conditions to test, then I'll have one. If I have another condition, then else if otherwise. Means suppose this turns out to be false, then you will not enter here. If it is false, we will not enter this. Only upon true. Only upon true, we will come here. So else if, then we could specify another condition. So if we have multiple conditions, we can use else if and whatever is the condition. Here also it is checking to see whether this is true or not. If it is true, then it will perform certain activities. Suppose this condition also fails, then what to do? If you have one more condition, you can say else if, give another condition. Okay, then what to do? So like this, we can keep giving multiple else if conditions if we have many conditions to check for. Let's say even if, let's say the second condition also turns out to be false, and I just have to do something, some default activity there. Then we make use of else, whatever has to be done, and you end the statement. Generally, if will have a corresponding end. In all the other tools, most of the tools, they follow this pattern. Okay, now else if in other tools, in Python, we call it ELIF. Else if is this, ELIF. EL from else and IF is if, of course. Okay, ELIF that you're seeing here is nothing but else if. So we will see this. Then we will see nested if statements. Okay, if inside an if. So how do you nest multiple conditions one inside the other? And while loop also we will check, and for loop also we will see. So with this agenda in our mind, let's go ahead. And I am going to open Spider like always. And we will start with one very simple example. Okay, the first example I would like to perform here. So to even do this, right, I am going to create a new file. So you can see the mouse pointer. I'm going to the top left corner, just below the file menu. We have the icon to create a new file. So a new file has come up. Let me slightly increase it in size. And what is my requirement here is, let us say, I need to design an application which is going to accept the age of the person as the input, and it will tell that person whether or not the person is eligible to vote. Okay, whether or not they are eligible to vote. So I need to check the age, and see whether the person is eligible to vote or not. This is the application we have to build. What is the app? It is supposed to take the user input, which is the age of the person, and based on that, it is supposed to tell the person whether he or she is eligible to vote or not. Simple requirement. So what is the criteria to be eligible to vote? Age should be 18 years and above, right? Once you are 18 years old, you get the eligibility to cast your vote in an election. So I need to accept an input over here. What is the input I should take? The age of the person. So I'll create a variable called as age, and using the input method, we can ask them to enter their age. So I will give a message. Please enter your age. And I'll give a colon mark and a space. Right? Space is always better. After the space, they can enter their age. So this is what we will accept. Using the input method, we are going to accept whatever number the user will enter as the age and store it in this variable called as age. Okay. And what if they enter a non-numerical value? We need to check, right? We need to make sure that they are not entering a non-numeric value. We need to check that they are entering a numeric value. So I'm going to create a checkpoint. I'll just, not a checkpoint, I'm just creating a variable called as check value or check age value that the user has entered, and see whether this age is numeric or not. Okay. So if it turns out to be numeric, what will happen? If the age is numeric, what will happen? Over here, into this, we will get true. Yes, it is numeric, true. And if they enter a non-numeric value, is it numeric? The check that we are trying to do to check whether it is numeric, that will become false. It is not numeric. So it will become false. All right. Now, if this check age value that I have created, then means what? If true, isn't it? Whenever you're using if statement, if is going to validate whether this is true or not. If true means if they have entered a number, if true, then I'll print a message that the age entered is numeric. Okay, for now. I'm not checking anything else. Age entered is numeric. Else, otherwise, see else. I will give a message that age entered is non-numeric. Okay, age entered is non-numeric. Now I should give the whole thing in quotations. That is why it was coming like that. I hope you got it. So this is simple. What am I doing? I am taking a number as an input, storing it in a variable called as age. Okay, storing it in a variable called as age. I'm making a check to see whether age is numeric. If it is numeric, here true will come because this is going to result in a Boolean value. Either it is numeric, true, or it is non-numeric. In that case, it will become false. So either true or false will come into this variable once this line is executed. If true, then we'll print that you have entered the correct thing. You have entered a numeric value. Otherwise, we will print age entered is non-numeric. Till here, let me run the code and see what will happen. Okay. So I'm going to run this code. You see on the prompt here, it is asking me to enter the age. Suppose I enter the number 20. Age entered is numeric. Perfect. But when I run this code and when the app is asking me to enter the number age, if I go and type ABCD, you see it is telling me age entered is non-numeric. Step by step, we are going to build the logic. I hope this is clear. Okay, we're just checking because we need to validate, right? What if they enter a non-numeric value? So error handling is very important in any app. You can see ABCD when it is entered, check age value is storing false. This condition is resulting in false. And if false, it will not do this. It will go into the else part. If true, it will print age as numeric. Otherwise, it will come to the else part and it will print age entered as non-numeric. Any questions on what is the purpose of else over here? If true, what to do? Otherwise, what to do? That is what else is doing. Okay. So that is not our final thing, right? What is our final target? We are building the app to check the age and see whether a person is eligible to vote or not. So we've just validated whether it is numeric or not. Now, assume that you have entered, you have given this message, the person has entered the age, and let's assume that it is also numeric. The age is numeric, okay? Now what to do? Now I have to compare it against a number. I have to see whether it is greater than or equal to 18 or not. If it is greater than or equal to 18, I can say you're eligible to vote. Otherwise, I have to say you are not eligible to vote. Okay. So after this message now, after saying yes, the age you have entered is numeric, I will store the integer form of the age entered into a variable. Why? Because I have to compare it against a number, right? Whatever the user is entering, whatever the user is entering into age, it is considered a string by default. Yesterday we saw it is considered a string. So we take the integer form of that variable and store it in another variable. I'm calling it num. Integer form of the age means you're converting age to an integer and storing it over here. When they enter a numeric value, we're taking that and storing the numerical form, the integer form, into a variable called as num. Now I will check. So inside this if, I'm going to write one more if. First if is to check whether it is numeric. If it is numeric, I have one more condition to test. What is the second condition? To see whether the age is greater than or equal to 18 or greater than 17, anything you can say. So here I will put that if condition. I'll say if the number, which is what integer form of age, is greater than or equal to 18, okay, if it is greater than or equal to 18, then what to do? Look at the indentation, it is happening automatically. Then we will say, I will print, you are eligible to vote. You are eligible to vote. Okay. Otherwise, what to do? Okay, let us run it till here. Okay. Otherwise, or let me do one thing. Here I will put an else part. Else, I'm going to say, I'm going to print, you are not old enough to vote. You're not eligible to vote. You're not old enough. You're still considered to be a child. So you're not old enough to vote. And if the entry itself is non-numeric, at the beginning itself, they have entered a non-numeric value, then of course, we are just going to come to this else part and say that you have entered a non-numeric value. I hope this logic is clear. After checking whether it is numeric or not, if true, age entered is numeric, and one more condition. After storing it as a number, we are comparing it with 18. If the person is greater than or equal to 18 years, eligible to vote. Otherwise, not old enough to vote. Okay. Now let me run this part of code now. So first I'll have to enter the age, right? Let me enter the age is 20 and see the output. The age you have entered is numeric. You are eligible to vote. So 20, you are eligible to vote. Let me run it again. 18, yes, eligible to vote. Let me run again. 16, age entered is numeric, correct. But you are not old enough to vote. You are not old enough to vote, right? And let me run it again. What if they enter alphabets? A, B, C, D. Then age entered is non-numeric. So far the logic is working well. Okay, now I would like to include another logic here. Or let us come back here. So I hope you understood. We are checking the age of the person and then we are checking whether the person is eligible to vote or not. First, verify whether numeric value is entered. If a numeric value is entered, then only you go and compare it against the number 18 and then see whether the eligibility criteria is met or not met. So if and else, I hope are clear. Now I'll open a new file and here I'm going to talk about if, else if, and then else, all the three together. Okay, all the three together. So I'm going to just take two numbers. A is equal to, let's say num1 or A is simply A is equal to 500. And there's another number B which is equal to 10. Okay. Now I have to check if A is, you don't have to even put brackets all the time. You can even say like this. If A is less than B, okay, if A is less than B, then what to do? I will print a message that A is greater. A is a greater value. Okay. Then what? I have one more condition to check. Means if this is not satisfied, if A is not less than B, sorry, if A is greater than B, I will say A is greater. If A is greater than B, I'm saying A is greater. Okay. Otherwise, I have, if that is not the case, I have one more condition to check. So else if is written as what? ELIF. ELIF. Else if, check whether A is less than B. Okay, this time check if that is not greater, see whether it is less than B. In this case, what will happen? I'm going to print. In this case, what could be the reason? B is greater. Right? If this is happening, then B must be greater. If both the conditions are false, then what? A is not greater than B and A is not even less than B. Then what could be the reason? The last thing. A and B both would be equal, right? So else, I'm going to just print A and B are equal. A and B are equal. Okay, so I open the quotation and close the quotation. Finish. So this is a very small piece of code. First, you're checking if A is greater than B. If this is not true, if this is true, it will print A is greater and it will exit. It will break and come out. ELIF. If this is not true, it will come here. It will check. Is A less than B? Suppose this is also not true. If it is true, it will enter into that statement. It will print B is greater. If this is also not true, then it will go to the default part. Else is the default. What to do by default? If none of the conditions are satisfied, then what to do by default? That is what else will tell you. Okay. So when I run this, what do you think will get printed right now? Over here on the console, A is 500 and B is 10. So when I run this code, I'm not taking any user input here. Okay. I've just hard coded the numbers. A is greater. I got A is greater. Now suppose I will change this. I will make B 1000. Okay. I'm going to make B 1000 and run the code. And look at what has come. B is greater. Because A greater than B condition failed. So it goes to the next condition. A less than B, it became true. So it is saying B is greater. Now suppose both of them are 1000. Okay, suppose both of them are equal. This is also 1000 and this is also 1000. Both are 1000 each. Now what will happen? A and B are equal. So it checked, is A greater than B? No. So it will not enter into this. It will come and check. Else if, is A less than B? No. So it will not enter here also. It will come to the default statement else and it will print A is equal to B. A and B are equal. Okay, this is the purpose of ELIF, that is else if. When you have multiple conditions to test, you can go with else if. Else if like that, you can write any number of. Else, how many times to use? Else will come. Okay, good. Look at this, Vijay. For one if, you will have one else. Inside you have another if, you can have another else. If you have nested another if, you can have corresponding else. How many else will come? How many ever ifs you have given, those many else's you can have. Understood? But ELIF does not need an else. Else if, this itself means else if another condition. Else if another condition. So how many ever conditions you have, so those many else ifs you will write. So if something, else if, depending on how many ever conditions you have, those many else ifs you can write. Finally, you will give else. What is the last else going to say? When all of these conditions become false, then you do this. You come to else part. Is it clear? How many else's to give? Yeah, thank you, Alicia. Okay. Okay, Vijay. So now you all understood else if, right? Let me go back to the previous file now. Here, we are checking to see whether a person is eligible to vote. So we are just comparing against 18. I have one more requirement now. If 18 years and above, the person is eligible to vote. So this is the message we are typing. The next requirement is if the person is 16 to 16 or 17 years old or 17 years old, print a message that you can vote after 1 or 2 years. Okay, we have to print a message that you can vote after 1 or 2 years. That's all right. If the person is 16, we'll have to wait for 2 years. If the person is 17, we'll have to wait for 1 more year to gain the eligibility to cast their vote. So we have one more condition to check now. Okay, we're not just checking whether eligible, whether or not. Even if at all someone is close to that eligibility criteria, like 16 or 17, then we will not completely disappoint them saying you are not eligible, you're not old enough. We will tell them, wait for 2 years, you will get the eligibility to vote. Okay, you can vote after 1 or 2 years. So now what to do? Two conditions means if and else is enough, but I have a third condition coming into play. So I have to accommodate it where? Over here. The outer if to check is for the to validate whether it is numeric or not. The inner if is where our logic actually is present. Right? After storing the number, we are verifying that number, seeing whether it's greater than or equal to 18, then you are eligible to vote. Now I have another condition to check for. So I will come here and given else if. Else if, again check if the number is greater than or equal to 16. Okay. In that case, I'm going to print this. You will be eligible to vote in a couple of years. You can vote after 1 or 2 years. Okay. Else this part. So imagine somebody who is, let me just put this in brackets to maintain the consistency. Otherwise not required. Brackets are not compulsory over here. So imagine somebody who is 15 years of old has come. Is it greater than 18? False. Is it greater than 16? False. So it will say you are not old enough. Imagine somebody who is 17 years of age has come. Is 17 greater than 18? No. So this is false. Is 17 greater than or equal to 16? It is greater than. This condition will become true. This condition becomes true. So it will print this message. Okay. Now say somebody who is 20 years old has come. Greater than 18 is true. Here itself, the first one itself became true. So it will print you are eligible to vote. Okay. Somebody who is 14 years has come. Is it greater than 18? False. Is it greater than 16? False. Then it will say you are not old enough. So if, else if, they're all checking for true. The moment the condition is true, whatever is written under that will happen. But if it is false, it will move on. It will move to the next condition and the next condition and the next condition until it comes across a true condition. If none of the conditions are true, then it will do the default which is given in the else part. So this is the code now. I'll go and run the code and I'm going to enter the age as 14. What should come first? I'm going to enter the age as 14. What should come? You are not old enough to vote. Okay, let's run this code again. 16. You can vote after 1 or 2 years. 16. You can vote after 1 or 2 years. Let me run it again. This time I will enter 17. Same thing, you can vote after 1 or 2 years depending on your age. And if I give something above 18 or above 18, let's say 20, you are eligible to vote. So each and every condition is satisfied. What if they enter a non-numerical value? It will say age entered is non-numeric, because in that case, this is false. This itself becomes false. When this is false, it will not enter inside. It will come to the else part and say age entered is non-numeric. So each and every condition we have handled. Okay, when you're writing in any programming language, when you're writing code, you must handle all the possible error conditions also in a nice, elegant way. Instead of simply throwing an error to the end user, you're giving a message, a meaningful message saying what they might have done wrong, where it has gone wrong. Okay. So that is about if and else, if, else if and else, if and nested if. So inside this, I have nested another if. This is nested if, nothing much. Inside one if statement, you have put another if statement that makes it nested if. Okay. So all these variants we have seen. If by itself, yesterday itself we saw if in combination with else, if with a nested if with else if and else. We'll move on. The next thing I'll talk about is the while condition. We also have a condition called as while. While is a loop. You have, if you want to make something happen repeatedly, you can use this while condition. For example, let's say I'm going to declare a variable called as num, and into this number, I'm storing the value 0. Okay, I'm storing a value 0 here. Then I'll give my while statement. While the number is less than 10. While the number is less than 10, you just increment the number by 1. So num plus equal to 1. What will this do? What is this equivalent to? Num equal to num plus 1. We saw this on the first day. Okay. Then what? Let me print the number. That's all. That's all. I'm not doing anything else. So I have assigned a value 0 to this number. While this number is less than 10, it has to increment the number first and then print it. It has to increment the number by 1 and then print it. So when I run this, look at the output. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What is happening here? So 0, first iteration. Number is 0. 0 less than 10 is true. True. Therefore, it is coming here and incrementing the number, making it 0 plus 1 is equal to 1. And then it is printing 1. You see? So it started printing at 1. So on. Now again it will go. While means it's going to repeat. It will keep repeating until the condition becomes false. It will go back. It will enter the loop again. What is num now? Num, after incrementing, it is 1. So 1 less than 10, true. Then what will it do? It will increment it. Num is the num plus 1, right? So 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. So num is now 2. And it is printing 2. It has printed 2. Again, it will go back. Is 2 less than 10? Yes. So it will increment it by 1, making it 3. And it is printing 3. Again, it will go back. Is 3 less than 10? Yes. So it increments it, making it 4. And again, it will print 4. Like that, it is going on and on and on till it is 9. Imagine 9. Okay, we are at 9. 9 is less than 10. True. 9 is less than 10 is true. Yes, 9 is less than 10. True. So it goes here and it increments it by 1. So what is your number now? 9 plus 1, 10. And it has printed 10. It has printed 10. That's why it printed 10. Okay, 10 is not less than 10, but it printed 10 because of this reason. It depends on where your print statement is. And before the increment or after the increment. My print statement is after incrementing the number. After adding 1, then I'm printing it. So now num is 10 and it got printed here. Now it's going to check. Is 10 less than 10? right? The next thing is num is 10. Is it less than 10? No. Now the condition has become false. So the moment it comes across a false condition, the while loop will break. It will break. You don't have to, even if you have not written the word break over there, the function break over there, it will break. And it stopped after 10. Okay. Now let us try it the other way. I'm going to move this print. I'm going to delete the print from here. And I will put it before the increment. Same thing. The print statement, I have moved it up. First I will print and then I will increment. Now what output will we get? So let me run it. Now you will get 0 to 9. 0 to 9 if you notice. Why so? Because number 0 less than 10 is true. It's printing the number immediately. After checking the condition and the condition is true, it's printing the number. So 0 got printed. After printing, we are incrementing it. So num is now 1. 1 less than 10, true. So it prints 1. Then it will increment and make it 2. 2 less than 10, yes. So it will print 2. Then it will increment it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 also will get printed. 9 less than 10 is true. So 9 also gets printed. After printing 9, it will go and increment the number now. And after incrementing, num is what? The number is 10. So when the number is 10, here it's checking, right? Is 10 less than 10? No, 10 is not less than 10. So it stopped over there. You see, it did not do anything after that. After 9, it's not doing anything because the condition is false. So if we'll check the condition, whatever input you're taking, if we'll check it one time and finish. While is a loop. It will keep on repeating that loop. So while is a what? Loop. It will keep on repeating the statements in that loop until it comes across a false condition. The moment the condition fails, it will exit from the loop. When the condition fails, that is when it will exit from the loop. Okay, that is the concept of while. Okay, Chandu Hari, you're asking me if the video is available on YouTube. Yeah, all the 5 sessions, even the previous 4 sessions are there on YouTube. Okay, you go to 360DigiTMG channel, check out the playlist. Okay, you will find the recordings in the playlist. Okay. All right. So this example, I hope it is clear. We can also use something called as break. Break will help you to break the loop and exit. It will help you to break the loop and it will help us to exit from the loop. It will help us to exit from the loop. So let me incorporate break and show you. So the same script, okay, number is 0, while number is less than 10, you print the number. And here, I'll do one thing. I'll give an if statement. If the number is equivalent to 5. See, single equal to is an assignment operator. If I say num equal to 5, you're assigning 5 to number. But if you say num double equal to 5, you're comparing it. You're comparing. Single equal to is an assignment operator. Double equal to is a comparison operator. It's comparing whether that number is equal to 5 or not. So when it reaches 5, okay, I want it to break. That's all. Then you increment the number by 1. Okay. So what will this do? See, without this statement, it was printing from 0 to 9. Because first it is printing the number, then it is incrementing the number. And again checking, printing, incrementing, checking. Printing, incrementing, checking. So until 9 it worked. For 10 the condition failed and it exited. But now I'm putting a condition here, another condition. When the number is equal to 5, then you break out of this loop. When the number is equal to 5, I'm saying you break out of this while loop. So break explicitly is given to break out of the loop. Whenever the condition is not satisfied, automatically it will break. But at some point, if you want to manually break it by inserting a condition, you can do this. So when I run this code, what do you think will happen? Let me run. It has printed 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 5. The moment, see, again, it depends on where your print statement is. So num is 0, 0 is less than 10, print 0. Check whether it is equal to 5. No, it is not equal to 5. So go ahead and increment it. Okay, so it is going ahead and incrementing it. After incrementing, this becomes 1. 1 is less than 10? Yes. So it is printing 1. Then it is checking whether 1 is equal to 5. No. So it increments 1, makes it 2. 3, 4, 5. 5 less than 10? True. So it has printed 5 also. It has printed 5 and it's checking. Is the number equivalent to 5 now? Yes, the number is equivalent to 5. So the moment you realize or you know that this number is equivalent to 5, you break. Okay, the moment the number is equivalent to 5, we are saying break. Break means what? It will exit from this while loop. It will not even increment. You see number now, see the value of number in the variable pane. It is equal to 5. It did not increment. Num plus equal to 1. This statement did not execute because you're breaking means you're breaking out of the while loop. And this increment is happening inside the while loop. Okay. So after this, if I print num also, after this, if I print num and show you, you will notice it will be 5. Okay. Print the number is, and then I can't concatenate it, but you get the idea, right? So if I print num again over here to show you what is the value of num after the loop is after we exit from the loop, you can see 5. 0 to 5 inside the loop. The moment it is equal to 5, we are breaking out of the loop. After breaking out of the loop also, the number remains 5 because it did not get incremented. It remains 5. And you can see it printed over here as 5. So this is the purpose of the while statement. Okay. I'll show you one more thing here. Iterating within a list. So you're iteratively printing numbers here, isn't it? But can I iteratively print the members present in a list? Can we iteratively print the values present in a list? So let me open a new file. So I'm going to create a data list. Okay, I'm going to create a list with some data in it, which I'm calling data list. How do we define list? We define list in square brackets. Okay, we define list in square brackets. Hope you remember this. So remember, we had created a list like this. For example, Akhil, hello, world, right? And let's say a number 500. Let's say a number 75. Anything, and even a Boolean value I could give. Let's say true is the Boolean value that I'm giving. Okay, this is my list. I've created a list like this with some text data, with some numerical values, and with a Boolean value also. Fine. The list is created and it will get assigned. Now, I want to print the items present in the list. Okay, what to do? We will use another statement called as for, function called as for. Okay, we have seen while, now let's see for. So I'll say for the item in the data list. For the item in the data list, what to do? You print the item. Let's see what this will do. For, it's all lowercase, okay? It's all lowercase. You can immediately identify the mistake by looking at the color. When I gave capital F, it was not giving me purple color. It was giving me white color. So I knew something was wrong. I went and changed it, lowercase f, and now it will work. For is another such statement that will help us. So let's see. Data list also I made a mistake. No? D is lowercase. Remember, our variables are all case sensitive. So these are the values in the list. Akhil, hello, world, 575, and the members in the list got printed out. Earlier we had seen how to print the values in the list, but this is also a way of printing. For means what? For the items in the data list. Print them. Print them. Suppose over here, let me. Okay, I'm going to create a variable over here, string variable. Okay, and I'm going to assign something. Hello world over here. I'm assigning hello world to this variable. Now I want to print. The variable is created. You see, my str is the name of my variable and the data inside is hello world. I want to print out each and every letter that is present in that text, in that string. Okay, how to do that? So I'll say for, see, print my str is one thing. You can print the data in the string. You can see it is printing hello world. But what do I want? I want each alphabet to be printed separately. Okay, I want each alphabet to be separately printed on each line. Then what to do? So I'll say for item in my str variable. Sorry, for it is not complete. Item in my str okay, you print the letter. Sorry, not item. Item would be in a list, no? List. These are the list of items. Akhil, hello, world. These are list of items in the list. Here I needed to print out each and every letter. So for letter. Okay, let me try it in a new file. I think here in the console it will not work directly. Just comment this out. I don't want these to run here. Okay. So my str with hello world is already there. I'll just type it here and we'll see the output on the console. Okay, we'll see the output on the console once we have typed it. Okay, and when I run this, indentation. Okay, so you can see. So I've created a variable and I've put some data, string data called as hello world into that variable. And for letters in this variable, print the letters. Okay, for items in a list, for item in the list, you print the item. Then it printed all the items in each item in a different line. Here I am saying for the letter in that string variable, print the letter. So each and every letter, you can see HELLO. Each one is coming on a different line. Instead of just saying print my string, which will give you one single output, here it's like we are getting each output in a different line. So while and this is for. For is also a conditional statement which is used for certain purposes. Okay. Now let's do one thing. I want to print only hello. In the same example, I wanted to print the first word and not the second word. This is the variable with the value in it, with the data in it. But I want to print the letters present in the first word, not in the second word. So what to do? The moment we come across a space, it means you're going to the next word, isn't it? The words are separated by a space. So we'll do this. We'll write an if condition over here. Okay, if the letter is equivalent to a space, then you break out of the for loop. Break out of the for loop. So it will keep printing each and every letter. After printing the letter, it's going to check whether the letter is equal to a space. After printing the letter, we are checking whether it is equal to space. If it is equal to space, we are going to break out of the loop. So what will happen? It will print hello and a space. You see? Hello, and there's a space also printed over here. So if I want to print only the word without the space, what will I have to do? I only want to print the first word, not the space that is coming after it. Then what is the one change that I will have to make here? I'll have to put the test. The test has to be before the print. Testing for whether it is equal to a space or not has to happen before printing the letter. So I'll just delete this from here. For every letter in the string, first it's going to check whether the letter is the space. If the letter is the space, it will break out of the loop. Otherwise, it will print the letter. Otherwise, it will print the letter. Okay, so when I run this, you see the output, it's just hello. That additional space is not there. Here we had space, and this is, of course, one line gap between the result and the next thing, right? So you can see here, but here, no, right? I hope you all got the difference. So it's all about where you're checking, where you're putting the condition to verify, to check for the condition. After checking, if you print, it's a different output. Before you check if you print, it's a different output that you will get. Okay. So that is about for, which is also like while only, slightly different from it, which will help you to iteratively do something. Iteratively print a list of values. Iteratively print the characters. So on and so forth. Okay, like this, we are iterating with a list. You can iterate with a dictionary. Okay, you can create a dictionary and use the same statements on the dictionary. For item in dictionary, you print the item. You can print the keys of the dictionary. You can print the values of the dictionary. You can print both keys as well as values inside the dictionary. Okay, same method, same procedure. Only thing is, here I have created a list. You try it out by creating a dictionary. What is a dictionary? It is something that is enclosed in array brackets, curly brackets, and what? It has the key and it has the value, right? So there will be key 1, and then you will get your value 1. Then key 2, value 2. Key 3, value 3. So on and so forth. That is how you define a dictionary. And then you can use the first statement to print out the keys, to print out the values, to print out both the keys as well as the values across multiple lines if you have to. So I will stop here. Today is the last session. Very basic programming we have covered with respect to Python. So we've seen introduction to Python. We talked about data types and variables, and we saw conditional statements and loops. Okay. Now, if you'll have any questions related to anything we have discussed so far in the past 5 days, I'm happy to answer. But that's it from my side. Okay, so you can continue your learning journey if you found it interesting. If you're planning to learn Python end to end, advanced Python, and everything end to end with developing beautiful apps with Python and all, you can consider enrolling for the full program. You can contact our career counselors at 360DigiTMG. You can even drop a message under this video. They will also get in touch with you. If you provide your number or email ID, they will get in touch with you. You can check with them and you can enroll for the full program if you're interested. Where everything is covered end to end, all the advanced concepts. Okay. So there are many courses that we offer, not just Python. We have the complete course on data analytics, complete course on data science, complete course on AI. So whatever you are planning to, depending on your career goals, right? Depending on your area of expertise and where you want to end up in the future, you can decide and join. You can check out first the website. Okay, and all these 5 videos will be available in the playlist of the channel. Kindly consider subscribing to the channel and then you can access the playlist and see the videos. All right, it was really nice taking up this session, though very basic. I hope it was informative. Thank you. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer. I think I told you on the first day itself, right, Vijay? There will be no certificate for this. There will be no attendance for this. I was very clear on the very first day. If you're attending the program just to get some certificate, then this is not the place for you. I mentioned it very clearly on the first day itself. There will be no certificate given. Any other questions, any of you? All right, then. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Bye-bye. All the best to all of you.